One of the most dangerous things you can be when it comes to your health is complacent. And unfortunately, there's a lot out there that can cause you to become complacent. So let's tackle this today. Let's tackle this topic. What is complacency culture? Why is it toxic? And what can you do about it? What can you be proactive about so it doesn't run your life? Hey mama, welcome to the Tough Love Mom Podcast. I know you're here because you're ready to get consistent and finally lose that weight, and you're not afraid of a little tough love. You know what to do to lose weight, but following through on those things feels impossible. You wish you could just feel like your strong, confident self again and want to be a good example for your little ones, but you get thrown off by mom guilt and the unpredictability of motherhood. It's frustrating. Taking on your journey postpartum is hard, but it's not impossible. Hey, I'm Liz, and I've been where you are. I gained a lot of weight in my pregnancies, 90 pounds and then 60 pounds. I needed to lose that weight to take control of my health and honestly just wanted to feel like myself again. With a sustainable approach to weight loss, simple consistency, and working on my mindset, I lost it all in just over a year both times. And I'm here to help you do the same. I believe that we have an ingrained ability to figure out what we need to do, make it happen, and do it in a way that awes the world. If you're ready to stop falling off the wagon, create solid routine and healthy habits, and finally feel your best inside and out, all while enjoying dino nuggets on your salad, you are in the right place. We're about to transform your journey, my friend. Get pumped up. It is tough love time. Before we dive too deep into this topic and start tackling the mindset piece and the resilience piece of battling complacency, I want to remind you that you don't have to do this alone. You don't have to figure out how to change your habits. You don't have to figure out what to do first and what comes next in your journey by yourself. That's my job. That's what I do. That's how this podcast is supported, is starting point sessions. And I want to make sure that you know that if you're in a place where you're lost or confused or frustrated because you feel like there's more that you can do, but you're on that verge of, I feel like giving up because I'm frustrated, that complacency is starting to nudge in and you're like, no, I don't want it. But you're right there, right on the ledge. We're going, I don't know if I should just give up or if there's something else I can do. That's my job, to help you figure out what's next. How do we keep it simple? How do we keep your journey sustainable so change actually lasts? You're not on this roller coaster. I'm not here for any roller coasters, and I'm not here for the 180 change either. I don't want you going from 0 to 100 in your journey, because you're going to fall off when you do that. I'm going to help you come up with a plan. In our starting point sessions, we figure out exactly that, your starting point. Where do you start and what steps come next? So you can book one-off call if you just need a quick refresher, a quick, where do I go from here? How do I start? Liz, help me kick this off. Or if you want to book a package of 3 calls, you can do that, and we can come up with a plan over the course of a couple months so you actually make real change in your journey. So you can go to thetoughlovemom.com/coaching. All the info is there. You can book your sessions there, and I can't wait to see you on there so complacency doesn't take root in your life. Now, what is complacency? The definition of it is self-satisfaction, especially when accompanied by unawareness of actual dangers or deficiencies. Now, that's kind of like a heavy definition, in my opinion. It's some big words in there. We use the word danger and deficiencies and unawareness. It's like, it's kind of like a heavy definition. But in other words, if you were to define complacency a little more simply, it's apathy. It's being apathetic. And I actually talked about this a few weeks ago in a Tough Love Tip Tuesday episode. It was episode 99 if you want to go back and listen to it. But complacency, apathy, however you want to call it, it's being in a place where you just stay still. You're sitting there going, it's good enough. I think that would be the best phrase to kind of define complacency, is good enough. I don't need to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't feel like it. This is good enough. I'll settle. That's kind of what comes to mind when I think of being apathetic. Again, episode 99 dives a little more into that because I think it's a nuanced topic. There's definitely some stuff that comes along with apathy that can be serious. But when it comes to complacency, it's definitely something that your mind is just going, I'll settle. I will settle. And that's dangerous. That's a dangerous place to be in. And in this definition, it talks about being accompanied by unawareness. And I think some of it is awareness too, because we kind of know when we're settling. I think we can recognize that. But again, in some, it's being pleased and feeling like you don't have to do anything about your situation. It's good enough where it is. So it might sound like, especially for moms, mom life is hard, be easy on yourself. Or, life is really hard right now, I'm just going to go easy on myself. It's all good. Or my kids are crazy and their schedules are insane, so I'll start making changes when life slows down because I just can't right now. Or I birthed a baby, my body isn't the same, so why would I try to change? Why would I try to get healthier or get stronger? Those are just some little examples of what it might sound like, whether it's coming from outside sources or within yourself. And some examples, some like tangible examples of complacency are having a lack of investment in yourself or others. So you're not investing time or finances or whatnot in things that are good for you or good for others, like your family, whether that is healthy food, time spent exercising and moving your body, prioritizing how you spend your time. So you're not just sitting on the couch all day scrolling or watching TV, which I know you don't sit on the couch all day because you're a mom. I know you're on your feet a lot. Like my Apple Watch, I told my husband one time, I was once Royce was a toddler, and I think when we had once I became a mom and had an Apple Watch, it was a few years into motherhood. I was like, whoa, I'm like not leaving the house and I'm walking 3 miles a day. He was like, no way. And I'm like, I'm serious. That's what my watch says. I know you're not on the couch all day, but an example is not having that investment in yourself, whether it's time, money, mental energy, or others, loss of passion for your work. So when motherhood starts to feel really mundane, when you're just not enthusiastic about your journey, and not like you're going to be excited to show up and work out every day. I'll be honest, the past couple of weeks, I'm kind of like, again, when it comes to my workouts in the morning, but I know it's what's good for me. I know if I don't do it, I'll really regret it versus that kind of regretful feeling of, I wish I could just sleep right now, staying in bed, right? So having that kind of sustained loss of passion for your work or what you put your time towards, even if it's not a job, motherhood, whatever it is, disinterest in other opportunities or promotions. This was like an example I found on Google. Wouldn't it be nice if we could get promotions as moms? I guess we do when we have second, third, fourth kids, right? But just having disinterest in things that come up, social events, outings, getting to, do something fun with other moms. Disinterest in general, or less thinking. This one really hit home. A really big example of complacency, and I think this, you'll be like, oh yeah, less thinking before action. So taking it back to episode last week with Kason, reacting instead of responding. Just kind of going with what your gut says, going with your emotions, going with how you feel versus making an intentional choice. So why, you can kind of already guess, but why is all this toxic? Why does all of this have a negative impact on you and on your journey? There's no such thing as staying the same. When it comes to being complacent, so when I'm a very visual person, so when I hear a word, I kind of picture something in my head. And when I hear complacency, I just picture this stillness, like you're still in one place, not moving forward or backward. But there's no such thing as that. There's no such thing as I'm just stuck in this one place. No, if you really feel stuck, you're actually regressing. You're moving backwards. We're either growing or we're dying. And I know that's drastic, but we're either moving forward or we're moving backward. There's no in between. There's no sitting still. So when you're being complacent, you're actually regressing. I consider it a drift. You can just put something into a lake. There's a bit of a tide and it's going to move with that. You don't realize it's happening. Say you go out in a canoe in the middle of a lake. I don't know why, but say you do. You stop paddling, you just sit there. You're not going to realize that you're being drifted to one side of the lake or to the middle or wherever. You're not going to realize that it's happening because it's so small. The shifts are so small, but it is. And when you feel like you're complacent and just stuck in one place, when you're actually regressing, it's ruining you. You're taking steps backwards in your journey. And when messaging out there in the world that's coming from external sources into your ears, into your eyes, makes it okay. And honestly, a lot of mom culture justifies it, justifies this complacency, justifies the struggle. And they're not wrong. It's hard, but it doesn't have to be the first thing we think of. It doesn't have to be the way we live our lives as moms. When you constantly are taking that in, it becomes what you believe to be true about your life, about your journey, about how you're supposed to show up, about how your mindset's supposed to be, that it's okay to just be this way and not have any desire to change, to progress. So it's toxic. When you start latching on to complacent messages and complacent people that are putting that out there, it's ruining you. I'm going to get off my soapbox now, but I hope you hear my conviction in that. It's out there and it is not good. It's not good for you. And you're important, but the way you show up is how your kids learn to show up when they become adults, when they become teenagers, when they can start making decisions on their own. So it's important to them too. So what can you do about it? Because I'm not going to leave you with that that heavy message of, okay, I'm convicted now. What can you do about it? What are some actual practical steps that you can take so you don't get stuck in that place of complacency? Yes. Are we going to have moments where we feel a little complacent? Are we going to have moments where it's hard, where you take a couple steps back? Yes. That's called being human. It is so, so, so normal to have a couple steps forward and a couple steps back. And maybe it's 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back for 3 weeks. Okay, that's life. But if you keep doing that and then you're like, oh, I'm going to justify X, Y, Z and let it impact my journey negatively because it's fine, it's whatever. If you start doing that, letting that complacency in, it's going to be 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, 2 steps forward, 4 steps back. And that's how it happens. Again, that drift without us even noticing it. So let's go back to the examples I gave of complacency. First one, lack of investment in yourself or others. Okay, this looks like taking time for yourself. So maybe you need to cut out the scrolling for a little bit and go to bed a little earlier so you can get up a little earlier and have 10 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, to yourself in the morning so you can move your body or just have some silence, whatever it is. Maybe it's time for yourself in the day to go for a workout, go for a walk, go for a run, move your body with your kids. On the weekends, be like, hey, I'm going to go take the afternoon to myself because I need to recharge. That's something I've had to learn how to do, communicate with my husband, because I have that need. I need those breaks. I need those times by myself where I can, simply go get groceries alone. I know people are like, that's not self-care, but it really is. It really is. So take time, invest time for yourself and invest time in others. I think the biggest way you can do this is to be present. Put your phone down, leave it in another room. Turn the TV off, have dinner with your family. Cook dinner. Have a dinner at the table instead of buying fast food. Be present with the people in your life. These are simple ways to invest in yourself and others. And y'all, a lot of this is free. It's I did say invest time, money, invest your mental energy, but the most fruit comes from when you're investing your time and your mental energy in yourself and other people. The money is is it tertiary? Is that third? Big word. Pat myself on the back there. But invest in yourself, invest in others. Loss of passion for what you do. I want you to revisit why you're doing what you do. Whether it's, and this is I'm speaking in generic terms here, as a mom, if you have a job outside of the home, revisit why you're doing what you do. Why do you want to work out? Why do you want to eat healthier? Revisit that. And I know it's tacky, find your why. Man, that kind of stuff. I feel goofy saying that, but truly revisit why you're doing this, the deep down reasons, not because you want to lose a few pounds, not because you want to be confident in your body. Why do you want to do it for your kids? Why do you want to do it for your long-term health? Why do you want to do it so you can be around to see your great grandkids, God willing? That will reinvigorate a lot of passion for doing what you want to do. And passion doesn't look like excitement all the time. Passion looks like conviction. Passion looks like, I don't feel like doing this right now, but I'm going to follow through anyways. We get that confused all the time, that passion is supposed to be this enthusiasm and this excitement and this joy and this energy around doing what we want to do, when ultimately passion means you're convicted, you're committed. You are going to follow through no matter what. Think of a passionate athlete. They have fire in their eyes, daggers. They're going to do whatever it takes to win. I want you to be passionate about what you do, not because it brings you joy all the time, but because you have a conviction about you to follow through. So revisit why you're doing what you do. That will bring up that conviction, that passion. If you find yourself having disinterest in other opportunities, whether that means going out with some other moms or changing up your routine, I don't know, just things that would bring more variety and spice to your life, get yourself out of your comfort zone and just do it. You have to just rip off the Band-Aid and do those things sometimes. Get out of your comfort zone and those things become a little bit easier. And then the biggest one that I think can be this underlying current that just makes this drift of complacency happen is not thinking before acting. So this is a huge one. And in a couple weeks, I have an episode coming up about mindless eating specifically, because I think this really applies to it. But in all things, whether it's when your alarm goes off in the morning, or you've got a couple things on your to-do list you keep putting off and you just need to do them, or if it's around food and you're doing less thinking before acting, you're reacting instead of responding, I want you to breathe, literally. Like, stop yourself and take a breath. Think logically for a hot second. Be like, okay, I know I need to do this. And I want you to logically think, do I have the time right now? Is it going to take as long as I think it's going to take? What will it take? What are the steps I need to do to finish through, like follow through on this? And then decide, can I do that right now? Or can I realistically not do it? That way you're not being emotional about your decision making. You're being intentional about your decision making. Breathe, think, decide. Cool? Those are the things you can do to fight back on complacency. It is not something that needs to run your life. So I want you to recognize one area in your life, and I'm talking about your journey mostly here, but it can be in other areas too. Recognize one area that you've gotten complacent in and do something about it. Do something about it. Maybe you need to start doing the breathe, think, decide, being more intentional instead of reactive. Maybe you need to get out of your comfort zone. Maybe you need to look at your time and how you're spending it, or your mental energy, and reprioritize so you can invest more in yourself and in others. Or maybe you need to revisit why you're doing what you do and reinvigorate that passion and conviction, whatever it is, or all four. Don't overload yourself though. Don't be go big or go home. Just pick one and do something about it. Follow through. Make a slight change. It's in those small, slight changes that you make a big difference over time. Okay? In starting point sessions, we go over a lot of this because, again, complacency can become pervasive without you even realizing it. And the way starting point sessions are structured, we do deal with a lot of the, okay, what are realistically your circumstances right now? What is the change you want to make? And how can we intentionally and logistically and realistically change one area so it can be this waterfall effect? It can start impacting other areas of your journey and making change in those other areas easier because you started with one starting point and you got consistent with it and you got disciplined. Starting point sessions fight back on all these things that complacency can cause by simply picking one thing at a time, getting accountability from me, and following through. So go book yours at thetoughlovemom.com. I want you to fight back on complacency every day because it's not just about us. It's about our kids, and it's about our kids' kids, and the ones after that, because we are the ones setting the stage, setting the foundation for future generations in our health. So let's do something about it, okay? Go get after it. Before you go, thank you for spending this time with me on the Tough Love Mom podcast. If this episode encouraged you in any way, the number one way you can thank me is to leave a review letting me know how this show has impacted you. Then send this episode to another mom friend, or take a screenshot, post it on social media, and tag me so I can personally thank you for helping me on this journey to impact thousands of moms. I'm so grateful to be on this journey with you, sister. Until next time, get after it.